So we're talking about the future of the weather satellite program here with two colleagues from the private sector and one that represented the private sector as well, but also worked with some of the programs like GOES-R and JPSS. And I want to start with you, Ann. So you're talking about this sort of new generation of private or commercial providers and data buys to the government. That's a very different paradigm from what we've seen here. What is your basic approach to providing the weather satellite data? Is there something different about what you're proposing with Planet IQ?
No, I don't think so. If you look at particularly the imagery world, the satellite imagery world, it's very analogous. We're looking to sell the data, our data in particular is called GPS, radio occultation data, to NOAA, to the Department of Defense, to ECMWF, to about 13 organizations around the globe. That data will be licensed. They ingest that data into the weather forecast models. Once the forecast is done, that is the property of NOAA and the other government organizations and will move freely around the world. But the license of that data will keep it from being further redistributed. But the issue there is there are really very few organizations that run a global forecast model. So we're just spreading the cost across the globe. So it'll lower the cost to the U.S. government quite significantly. And
that really sounds, I think that no one would really argue with saving money in private and federal partnerships. But, you know, boy, it all sounds really good. I mean, are there any concerns that you see in that paradigm?
Well, I can't speak for the government, but I think that if I understand the position correctly, they're in favor of buying data, and they feel that they have authority to buy data today. But you know, weather data is interesting. Once NOAA receives, let's say, sounding data, are ingested into a global model, that model is, the output of which is shared with the world. It does undermine the opportunity for you to sell that data again because it's already informed something that the world has. Now, I'm not saying that that precludes any further sale of it, but it does cut into it. But full and open sharing of data is the rock core requirement that the federal government has.
Yeah, so what would you say about that?
So full and open sharing of data and open records law apply to government-owned products or government-owned and generated data, which is really about accountability of government. And so the private sector products are copyrighted, just like a digital image, satellite image is. NOAA now uses satellite imagery for CWIFs and RadarSat and digital globe data, and that's licensed data. We expect to help our customers improve the forecast, and we expect the forecast to move freely around the globe, and we expect all of our customers to have license to the data we have. So.
All right, we are to the point where we have to do final thoughts, and Ann, we're going to start with you.
Well, we look forward at Planet IQ to launching 12 satellites in low Earth orbit and contributing this data around the globe and helping to improve the forecast. I think that's the most important thing.
And I made a reference earlier to the national surveillance satellites. NOAA weather satellites are no less important to the nation. They're in the non-defense discretionary budget, but they are in defense of the nation, and they're not discretionary. So full funding of the satellites has to continue, augmented by commercial data buys.
Coming up next on Weather Geeks, we geek out how satellites are giving us previously unseen storm images. But first, our Geek of the Week. Chris Veldon is a senior scientist at the University of Wisconsin, and on the tropical cyclone team, he loves the momentum equation. And when he's not studying the wind, he's rooting on the Green Bay Packers.